Morning. All right, guys. I'm 2 minutes early. We're gonna start now. Um, just to get through the 2 minutes of disclaimer. And so TikTok, y'all are back on my tripod. I can't watch comments. The next 30 minutes is for the community. If you want to come in and watch it in the community, you can simply sign up at botjock.com. You can do it free with an email. And then you go down to the community events here. Click on that, and you can come in right here. So if I hit play, there's the echo. So literally right there. That's where you can come in, watch everything we're doing. If you miss it, that's where you would jump on to be able to watch the beginning part. If I missed the one that you wanted to cover. So let's talk a little bit briefly about Friday, and then we will jump into the news, stuff like that. So I'm going to go to the 1 hour chart just for the visual. But so if y'all remember, this red line right here, kind of if you can't see it, follows down like this, right? A little bit of a strange line. We drew it back here, but it broke through, collapsed, tried to break through again, collapsed, right? And so it's been pretty viable. This was that line that I've been kind of following to see, are we curling, right? Are we starting to round on the bottom? Are we getting into like falling wedge? What do we got going on? And then we marked this lower territory here, which is just the bottom peaks of the 1 hour chart. And so if you go down to all of these, right, you can see this one is what we talked about on Friday, that we would come down to, basically to wick down and hit the line here. And so we literally hit that low of 443.45. That's what we had talked about. I had 443.86, so we actually hit a little bit lower, past this yellow line that I had, but it technically hit right off of this trend line. So just such an easy quick put scalp into a nice call scalp, riding that line. Now where do we go from here? We're in an interesting spot. I know I've said this a few times, but we are, because this teal line, let's back up here and let's show you where this teal line comes from. It's kind of the longer line, right, since March. So we hit the bottom here, we kind of rolled it up through a couple of these lines up into this peak where we got this bounce, is where we're playing that off of. So it's a little bit of room that we can move on that line. It's not exact, but pretty close, right? And so it's going to act as potentially really good support. And so what I'm kind of anticipating is, between the strong bullish divergence that we had back here, we're still kind of creating that higher low. Obviously the candles have the higher low, so it's not really a divergence. But there's definitely going to be a lot of support between 443.30 and the 444 range. And so I'm kind of wondering if we're going to open up and pull back, right, and hit that again, come down for a retest. Now, the one thing that kind of stands out to me a little bit, if we can't even make it down here, then we've created a higher low. Not only have we created a higher low, we kind of have on the 1 hour, our shoulder, our head, and then we're creating that second shoulder, right? So we may see this level held right here, which is 444.73. You can see it just barely broke it right here, and then it instantly reclaimed it. So if we can see this held, not only is that a bullish pattern, but we're holding on top of this trend line that we've had going for a while, and it's holding the support of this teal line, right? So it could get over to like here, 2-3 o'clock. We could just kind of range today a little bit, and then kind of into the market push north, which could push us into another bullish push up to like 449 or so. Now, where would I take that put? I don't think I would take any puts right off the bat here, because I don't know that it's going to break this. If I wanted to take a put, or when we're in the room talking about it, I would want to see the market kind of open a little up, get up to like 446, 447, somewhere around here again. And then I want to see a breakdown like this: lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, like that. that tells me that this pattern has been invalidated, and then I want to see a squeeze below this around 443.16 or so, or lower, and then a retest, and I want this line to begin to act as a resistance, and that's going to set me up for that big drop that would come. Now, y'all know that my longer term plan or vision here is that I think we're going to get down to the 431. I just don't know that it's going to be right away, right? Because if you look at the apex here, right here, of the peak there, before we get back to that, if you kind of have that equal up, equal down, I mean, there's some time in there, right? I mean, it could be, first week of September before we even get to something like that. So there's definitely room for another push north. We do have somewhat of a falling channel. Those falling channels, at times they love to pop, right? So, and we have a lot of that, strong bullish divergence popping out. So I would say be definitely careful of the big push north. I don't think it's going to be sustainable, in the first push without some crazy news behind it. But this would be my bearish scenario. If I see a rejection around 446.80 or somewhere in this range, is losing some support, then I'm gonna take that put and ride it back down to this channel, and then I'll probably close it or trail it tight somewhere around here. And then if I start to see it hold that below this line, then I'm gonna wait for all my indicators to line up, and I'll take that put again. Otherwise, I'll ride the bounce, right? Ride the bounce back up to the white line. I think at some point we're going to get back to this white line. Probably could pull this up a little bit, just looking at the multiple peaks. Let's see. Sometimes I get so many lines going, I don't lock them, and so I accidentally will drag it here and there. So always be looking at your lines. Don't be afraid to move them or to true them up. So let's lock that one. All right, so we got that peak now. So I would say if this were to have its breakout, 449.47 or so would be a good put range. Now, if you look at the 1 hour, notice how you have the 200 coming down like this. It could be that we do this, right? Maybe come down a little bit, hit this, bounce back up, and then this comes down, and that trend line is the 200 is where it rejects, right? And then this is going to be our breakout point. So, that's kind of my scenario. I'm thinking if we break this, 444.70 range at market open, it's likely to come down to retest this 443 range. If we can hold it and we start to push north, it's going to for sure come up to at least test the neckline of this inverse head and shoulder. I'd probably just throw something like that in the room. And so if it comes up and it breaks this 447.17, then you're going to see a big push like that. So that's kind of my play on the SPY. When I'm running the ATA today, I'll probably start it early. I don't mind starting it a little bit early, but we'll see. I don't know if I want to run the puts right away. So we'll double check that when we get over the SPY chart. So, but that's kind of my thoughts on the SPY. Let's touch briefly. The screen is backwards. I have it on the. I wonder if that's. Hold on one second. I'm gonna pause this for a second, guys. I gotta see if I can. Let me check something. All right, let's see. All right. Let me get you on my face here. Let's pause. How's that now, John? I wonder if it's because I had it flipped. Let's try it that way. Way better. Okay, yeah, it's because I had it flipped. I was playing with that, and apparently that didn't work out. Okay, we'll leave it like that for now, so we can get through it. Just keeping you on your toes there, John. Appreciate it. All right, and so Apple, we don't have to touch on long. We talked about holding the support of 177. It's literally held that for all last week into today. So if this support continues to hold, like we talked about, we'll see that push up to 184. you know, we're just in that kind of accumulation stage of it. For me to see another drop come, I would need to see it break below 177 and hold it as resistance. So like an actual movement down and then resistance. Now, we have a lot of bullish divergence that's going on here because you can see that the overall channel has just been kind of down or equal, and then the overall RSI has been just in a pretty craziness steady up. So I think Apple's getting ready to potentially push north. Google. So Google, the first thing that sticks out to me, we have kind of like this this channel here that we've been following. But if you go to a higher time frame, you know, it's very double top-ish right here. So if we can break down below this 127, then Google's going to drop. However, we need to break above the 130.39 or so in order for us to actually pop north. So on Google, so Google's you know, I would say, you know, in a bearish scenario, you know, you're clear to take those puts if you get below that you know, 127 range, 128, you know, with some momentum and the indicators lining up. Otherwise, be careful. All right, I'm just gonna try to flip through some of these. Microsoft, I'm on the 1 hour. Let's see, Microsoft looks like it's trying to hold this area here. It's broken below it, definitely, but had a little push north. Let's see. So we did get some definite bullish divergence here. So we might have another little push into Microsoft, and then I would say let's zoom out here. So remember, Microsoft had its crazy push north, right? So I'm trying to see. I don't really see any lower trends that I like, because if I take this one to this one, it's going to be up here. We took this lower one here, which we're below that. So I would probably play the EMAs, honestly, because I don't really like any of the trends. So we're just below the 21 SMA. If we get above it and we hold the support, you could ride that up to the 200, which is about 329. Now if we stay below this, I would just keep riding that wave, that put. So, but we're definitely getting into, I mean, we're into a support level, so be real careful on that put, taking it too early. Amazon had a crazy push here, and then we kind of been in this, I had called bull flag for some time. Let's extend it out. Yeah, I still like that one. And so we're still just riding this, right? So I would just be I'd be really careful on your puts. You can definitely take some put scalps as we oscillate in this channel, back down to the 200 EMA. But keep in mind, where Amazon is right now is interesting because we have the 21 SMA and it's holding support. So if it comes up here and squeezes this, right, and starts to do this, you're going to see a crazy pop. And it's going to probably just come back for a retest up here around the 143. So in order for me to believe that this is going to be reclaimed, then I need to see it flip below the 200 of 136. Then I would take those puts. Okay, on this page I'm just gonna do Tesla unless someone wants to ask otherwise. So Tesla, we've been following this falling channel. Y'all know back here I said I would stay on the put side. The interesting thing about Tesla to me is you can see we're kind of getting that, to simplify the terms, and I talk to people in the room about, is, you know, it's where you have your kind of your peak, your upper peak, another peak, and then we get to this side now almost equal to there. Now you have this peak that was equal to there, and then we collapse below. We had a push of a peak here that was equal to here. You see how it works its way. It's not the same, but it's working its way onto the downside, right, of that. The support line for it, I would probably watch, would be right there, just because that's where we had that explosion. If we stay below that support line and we stay below this channel, We got some more downside. And the interesting thing about Tesla is there's really not a ton of support. I mean, maybe around 222, somewhere in this range, 223, and then not probably not till like 217. So I would be super careful taking a call. The only way I would take a call on Tesla is if I can break back below 238, and I can hold this as support and flip this 21 SMA on the 1 hour. And then you can ride it up to probably 253, where it'll oscillate up to that 200 EMA. So, but in the meantime, on Tesla, it's definitely. I mean, it's breaking some pretty serious support. So if it gets a little push north, 237, 238, and it starts to reject again, people are going to lose faith, and that fall is going to be pretty nuts. So I would watch the 21 SMA closely on that one. Just looking at the price on the dollar, I know we were pretty close to what we've been talking about. Look at this. So one of the things that we had talked about for some time on the dollar, we'll go to the 1 hour here, is here's our biggest rejection point, and then we had obviously collapsed that with the news. Came down, we had our double bottom, which you talked about how that was going to push north. We came up, rejected, pushed back up. I said if we hold support here, we're likely to come test this white line, which we did. And look, it actually continued to test for support on the 200 EMA on the 1 hour. And that was able to squeeze it past the trend lines, which is acting as support, and we're getting that big push north with it. The thing I would caution is this is where, we were talking about the puts is, we have this rejection. It's likely the scenario is going to be something like this. We're going to push up like this. We're going to hit this resistance level, come back down, maybe come up and hit this right here, somewhere around there, and then that's going to have a big drop like that. Something like that is what I'm anticipating. In order for us to come up to hit this peak, it has to flip this line, and if it flips this line, it's going to be crazy bullish. I mean, the dollar would probably almost shoot back to 104.70, but I don't know if it has the juice to do that. So we'll watch that closely in the room. Bitcoin, I haven't covered a ton of Bitcoin, but y'all know. I mean, we're just there's a big move coming. Be patient with Bitcoin, but at the end of the day, we're just ranging between that 28.8, and I mean up in this range of the 30,000. So, and you can see that range has even gotten tighter here. So, when in doubt, you kind of zoom out on that, right, and see where the channels, where's the uppers, where's the lowers. So this was the upper. Let's just kind of true that line up a little bit. Let's true this one up a little bit. And this is the lower. So based on how it's moving, I'm anticipating we'll probably have a pop north eventually, but I think there might be one more move south before we do that. So something like this, like it comes up, boom, collapses, comes down, creates a retest of the 28.8, comes up, pushes, creates a lower high, finally breaks the 28.8, can't do it, comes down, hits this 28.1, and then I think we're going to have a pretty crazy push north, maybe not directly to it, but something like this, creating like a little inverse head and shoulder, which will push us past the kind of falling trend line that we have here, or a falling channel, and then that's what would propel us, up north like this, and then I think that's when we're going to create our higher highs, higher lows like that. I think this is going to be our big line here, and so we can make sure that one's kind of trued up. Let's see. Mondays I always love to double check my lines, just because stuff gets moved throughout the week as I'm clicking and moving. Yeah, this one got moved a little bit too, so we'll move that one like that. Not too bad, actually. It looks like mostly the lower. We're a little bit over on this one, but we're touching this one perfectly, so I'm okay with that. So this is a significant line, so let's lock it. But at the end of the day, on the daily, guys, if you look at this, I mean, we have a lower channel, we have an upper channel, and we're just going from floor to ceiling to floor to, we didn't even make ceiling on this one here. And then, at the end, if you look at this one almost from a longer term standpoint, how I see this pattern playing out is very similar to what I just said, where it pumps up, actually creates a higher high somewhere around here, comes like this, everybody gets, bullish, 35K, something like that. And then all of a sudden, come November, we just do this, right back to 20. So, and then a big old bounce like that. So this is something I could definitely see playing out, have this rising wedge style. We get a nice 35K, hedge funds, market makers trap everybody in longs, thinking we're a bull market going to the moon. And then they just wreck people at the end of the year before we actually start to move up again. So that's obviously, things can change throughout that. But you can see, we're kind of in a similar situation as what we had here. We had our push north and we kind of had that falling channel. We hit that line and then it just exploded, right? So we're kind of in that straight line / falling channel. We'll hit this line and see if we can get that pop, which could be why everybody's kind of holding off to do anything there. So, but let's talk about the ATA. 1 minute. Where am I at here? This is Friday. Okay. I haven't even looked at this. So this actually worked out really well. I wanted to leave this as kind of an example of what I don't really care much for on Fridays. So if you look at this, you may look at it and go, what am I looking at here? So on Friday, we had this close right here. We took a call on the ATA, and it actually was a really good call. It started to go backwards a little bit, but it pumped north, and we actually took TP2. So it was a really, really big win on Friday. You all know that the moment I saw a TP2 win, that's like a $200 win on Goliath, right, on a Friday. We had a great week going. I think, most everybody was up pretty substantial, even with 2 stop losses that we took. So I made the decision to, somewhere in here, I didn't like how this pattern was going. So I said, you know what, it's Friday. Let's take our profits and leave. And so we had another little put, which would have played out nicely. It would have been a small win, nothing massive. It's only like a 20-cent movement, which, still not bad. But if you notice here, we took a call. And this is what I don't like about Fridays late in the market. This is why I don't really trade it late in the day, let alone have the ATA trade it. Because they like to do these little push move north, right, to make it look like it's something going really solid, right? And then all of a sudden they reverse it. See that? So if you notice what that did is the code tried to capitalize on the call, which it wasn't a bad play because look, we actually touched TP1. It just couldn't close above it. And then it came back, opened a put, and then it would have resulted in that stop loss there for that call. And then the put again wasn't bad, touched the take profit, right? And then it reversed on us, resulting into a stop loss on the put. And so that's why I only left this example because I get a lot of people when I'm copy trading and they don't understand what I'm doing or my thought process, and there's a reason for everything that I do, and those that run it on their own, I hope that you kind of learn from that. Greed is not good. As a live trader, as a running the ATA, it's just not a good look. And if you think about this, even with this win here and this win here, taking 2 of these in a row like this, that just, it's going to wipe out, all the wins for like the last day or so. And so it's not, It's just not worth it. One stop loss, you can recover from pretty easily. Two is tough, right? And our code is good. I mean, we win. You guys see this. I mean, we win way more than we lose. But there's going to be chances that, or instances that this can happen. And those instances, when we study the code, tend to be more on, Friday after like noon or after 2, because that's when the market makers are trying to get crazy with the market to trap people for the weekend. So, that's why we don't get greedy on Fridays. We if we get 1 or 2 wins out of it, kill it, reset, start the week, right? So we did not take these trades, therefore we did not take those losses. So that's awesome. So let's talk about where are we going from here. So y'all know the TA I did on the SPY. Let's take a look at, I love to get rid of everything and just look. I mean, just look at the chart, right? Get rid of all your lines. Do you see your support? Do you see your resistance, right? If you can't see it on the 1 minute, let's go to the 5 minute. Do we see our support? Do we see our resistance? So we know right here we had heavy, heavy, heavy resistance. So I'm going to put a line there. This is how simple I draw my ATA if you're running it on your own. We found support because, remember, what was once resistance turns to potential support. And so we found that support. So this is what I was talking about, where it's critical, because if this continues to hold support on the 444 or 443.90 range, somewhere in there, then we're going to get a nice little push north. It's going to be pretty significant. However, if we flip that and we come like here, how it broke down below it, right, a little bit, if it were to break down enough, like 442, 442.50, and it holds like this, and we come up and retest it as now resistance, it's going to be foreseen as this. And then we're back into this lower channel of 440 or 437 to 443. So I always get the side messages here and there, or emails of people asking why I'm not aggressive or whatever, like, because I'll say, oh, we're at the support, and they'll say, well, if you're at the support, why not just go crazy, run Trend Finder or something like that, right? Get a crazy win today. We haven't hit it enough to know that it's truly support yet. And so how do I see that? And so what I look for, if you guys are running this on your own, is, did it hit it? Okay, we got our bounce, we got higher low, we kind of oscillated through here, right? I'd love to see it actually come down again, hit this for some support, which will create a little higher low than that, right? And then I want to see it from here gain some momentum, create a higher low from there, and then come down and reject with a higher low here. So this right here, when I see something like this, by the end of today or into tomorrow, I'm like, okay, this support is holding. We're creating higher lows, higher highs. The trend is shifting, right? Also, keep in mind something super aggressive like Trend Finder. We name it Trend Finder for a reason, because it is our most aggressive strategy, and the objective is to use that when we see that reversal pattern or that trend reverse. And so it's really good in something like this, right, where you see that double top, comes down, it breaks down, it retests, right? Once you see that reversal pattern, that's when you want to kind of run that Trend Finder, or your inverse head and shoulder, pushing north. Those are the times that you really want to run that. And so when I look at this, in all honesty, if you take this like that, and you take this like this, right? Now you have that fall with a potential bearish pennant, right? And so you could see this reject here, come like this, and then have that fall, and that would be that retest, right, that we were talking about. And so although it's enticing to take a very aggressive stance towards calls, we may not be out of the woods yet. Like if I want to take a call, I want to see this pattern invalidate like this throughout the day. So now it's 10:30, hold as support right here. 11 o'clock, I may midday switch it to Trend Finder, because now I'm like, okay, we're about to run right north. And so, but it's not it's not a good, and I wouldn't want to be aggressive on the puts because we are near so much potential support, and we have a lot of room to go. I mean, if you take if you kind of find your upper channel, this is why I like these blank canvases, because it kind of helps you find those channels. So if you take a line like this, right, which is kind of derived from up here, that is going to, I mean, look how much gap we have. This is why I would think more call than I would think put. But remember, we're running tight stop losses, so you could easily take a too early put and bam, hits a stop loss and then wrecks. Or I'm sorry, take a call too early and then bam, hits the stop loss and then goes parabolic north. So that's that balance that you got to find. And I'm not saying don't run things. What I'm saying is just either don't run something or run something passive. So what my thing I'm getting to is I'm actually not going to run a put right out the gate. I'm probably not even going to set up the alert, and then I'm going to run the call. But I know it's Monday, and everybody says, "Well, Nick, it's Monday." We take some more aggressive trades Monday, but I want to give it about 30 minutes or so. So those of you that are trading with me in the room, you'll probably see me adjust this. But for now, we're going to go to parabolic SARS. I'll stick with the 3-day. I don't think we need to go to the 4-day. So and then I'm gonna allow it. We'll say 9:45. I don't want to go to. I don't like market open for the ATA. And we'll let it take trades a little bit later. We'll say 3 o'clock, just because, and we're not going to stop everything because we can let a day burn if we need to, but we will still take that stop loss if needed. So 14. All right, so 8:14, 9:30, and let's go to the 1 minute. There we go. So let's just double check. So we got call, SPY, tasty trade, parabolic SARS 3, 9:45 to 3 o'clock. And we got the stop loss and the close trade. So let's go ahead and create this alert. All right. And then the puts, I'm gonna hold off. I think if I do decide to run the put, I will likely run, put 3-day parabolic SARS. Time will just depend when I decide to turn it on. I won't stop them at the end of the day, and I'll run the same stop loss. I just am not going to even turn it on yet. So currently we're just going to run that call. Let's make sure, yep, there's the alert. We got the 1 minute, cool. And we are good. So I'm going to mute the short since I'm not actually running that one for now. And let's see where we go. My hopes, best case scenario for my call situation would be for this to open up down, have it pull back in the market open somewhere around 444, and then catch that retest, bounce. So I know that I'm into my 30 minutes, so I don't want to take up too much time. But exciting news. So we are testing later today, this afternoon, as well as probably the next few days, the black box ATA as well as the live trader. So somebody had mentioned about live trader, so I wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit and show you guys how amazing this is going to be. It was so good for I'm going to do it for crypto, but the concepts are the same. So but it was so good for crypto, and so we tried to get it to work for the options for Tasty Trade, and we were able to get it to go, but it requires a lot more coding, a lot more stuff, because there's just a lot more involved, right, when it comes to options. But I wanted to show you kind of the concept of this. This thing is literally going to revolutionize how people trade. I promise you that. And so what this does, right? And again, this right here is set up for crypto. So I'll give you the, imagine this. So you get to choose your long or short, or put or call. You get to choose the symbol, which right now we're sticking to SPY. We are going to add symbols. That's the caveat with Live Trader. We're going to allow you to do Tesla. We're going to allow you to do Amazon. You know, all these ones that I do TA on, we're going to add those in there. We don't like to do that with the ATA for a specific reason, but for Live Trader, you know, that's something that we can do, because Live Trader requires a little more manual intervention, such as, you know, you're choosing how many contracts you want to take. You could choose your volume. If you want to take 100 contracts, take 100 contracts. You want to take one, right? It doesn't matter. And you get to choose your contract days. So if you want to do 7 days, 10 days, 14 days, whatever, you can. And so that's where some of this will be a little different, right? You'll have contract volume, tasty trade. We'll still have strategies. Now, the strategies are built in there, but they don't really apply, because you're really not playing a strategy. It's not an ATA. You're playing the range. And so I'm gonna show y'all what that means here. So if I were to I'm trying to think, I should have applied this to our Bitcoin here. Let me change this real quick, just for the sake of time. Let's just change it to Bitcoin, just to keep it easier with the range. All right, and let's say today I wanted to trade. I don't know. Let's look at a back test right here somewhere. Okay, so let's say we found support here, right? And we're coming in to trade this range. So let's say we wanted to close our candle, we'll say at August 13th, 23:41. This huddle is going to go a little bit longer, so if you're done with the huddle, you can move on. All right, so 2023. And so we're going to choose this candle. We'll say like this candle. So 23:38 on the 13th. So 8, 13, 23:38. So this would be like, and this is going to be similar to options, right? M -4. So if you ever see your yellow thing off there, it's probably because your time zone's off. Okay, so now we're closed. See how it says long ready? So this means that the ATA is now ready for you to take a long. So it's going to ask you, okay, when do you want it to consider opening, right? So let's say I want to take a long if it gets, I don't know, below 29,370. Let's say 29,370. So I'm going to show you how it would play that. So now you started your day here, you set this line, see where it took the buy. Now the cool part about the Live Trader is Live Trader creates a line. I don't know if you can see that there, but it creates a line. And so when it crosses this line and closes below it, it does not take that long until it comes back your direction. And then the take profits, right, are preset, you can see here, based on what you put here. And so you can do your TA and set up your range, and it will just take that trade for you. Now, here's the cool part. So I'm trying to see an example here. So let's say like we're trading this range right here. Okay, so let's move this back a little bit. This is where it gets really cool. So let's move the candle back to 21.56. 21.56. And this time we're going to set up a short. Okay, and so let's say we decide we want to take a short, but we only want to take a short at 29,275. Right, which is not bad, because you know you're playing your range. Okay, if it hits this and rejects, you want to take that rejection, right? Notice how it never took a trade. Never took it. The reason why is you're telling the code, I only want to take a trade if it comes back my way. But if it gets above it, right, this is where you can set multiple indicators. And hopefully this isn't confusing people. Some people that don't know a little bit about what we do, it might be confusing you, but I promise you it's not that bad. So you can set another indicator, 8, I think 13, and we're going to say same thing, 21.56, because that's when you started your trading, right? And so now on this one, I'm going to say, okay, I want to take a put at 29.275, but if we break that level, right, I have a feeling we're going to keep going. So I want to take a call, or put and call, get mixed up on the crypto. Let's say 29.300. 29.300. So now you have the code saying, okay, I want a put or a call. So you're taking a put off of this rejection, but if it breaks the rejection, I want to take the call, or you want to take the long. And so you can see you have a short in there and you have a long in there based on your TA that you did in the morning. Now you go to work, right? And you come back and you're able just to see that you got your win in there. Now, you can set as many of these indicators as you want. So you could tell the code the same thing, like see down here. You could have added another one, because you can add as many of these as you want, that said, okay, well that's fine. I want to do that, put on 8:13, and then forget the time. 21:56, I think. 21:56, and I'm just getting that from the candle. 4. Yeah. And then now I could say, okay, but I want to take a put if it gets, below, because remember this was our put rejection. But you could say I want to take a put if it gets below 29.250. And see how I can set up multiple of these? Oh, I'm in the long, so let's go short. So now, see how this would have played out? It would have took your short, it would have flipped over, and it would have took another short had this went down. But instead it went up, so it took your long. So it played your range, right? And so the concept we've created with this live trader is we want you to be able to do the TA. We want you to be able to play that support and resistance, play your range. You can still have all the capabilities of the ATA. You have stop loss, you have DCA, you have all of the normal stuff, right? That you can put in there. But the beauty is you can literally take 10, 15, 20 minutes in the morning, set up your range, and then go to work. Either you come home and you hit your stop loss and you're done, or you come home and you hit 2, 3, 4 wins, however you set up that up, right? Or maybe you hit 1 win. You set up your take profits properly. 1 win a day is really all you need. So, but it's it's going to be amazing. And the beauty of Live Trader is, like I said, you manage your volume. So there will not be a copy trade for Live Trader, unfortunately. But however, I will set up my Live Trader range based on what I see, because I will be using this too. And y'all are welcome to follow. We just can't we can't currently do the copy trade because of the volume issue. You have to set your own volume, but we will eventually move the volume over to the website, and then we'll potentially have that copy trade option available. And some exciting news on that. We may come up with a copy trade program where you actually you run this, right, and you have others follow you, and we can keep track of your stats and stuff like that. So we're continuously building and expanding on that stuff. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. If I confused you a little bit, don't worry. We'll be a little more I might do a whole video on this because there's a lot to cover of how to use this strategy, but it's just a way to live trade and use the technology for you. The hardest thing as a trader is having patience and having discipline, and this solves both. You do your TA, you trust your gut. I mean, how many times, think about it as a trader, how many times do you sit there and go, you know, you see this and you're like, gosh, I don't want to take that. I don't want to take that. I know it's going to reverse. I know it's going to reverse. I know it's going to reverse. And then you go, I'm missing out. Okay, I'm just going to take the put. Forget it. You take the put and then it reverses and now you're stuck. And you're like, I knew it was going to reverse. That's called patience and discipline. You didn't have the patience to let your TA play out, and you didn't have the discipline to actually stick to what you've seen. And that's where the technology comes in handy, right? So it prevents from those emotional losses. And it allows things to run sometimes, right? I mean, how many times you see a pump here, you take that long there, and you close it right here, and then it goes like that, and you're like, man, I knew it was going to keep going, right? That's that patience and discipline. So, the technology takes the emotion out, and that's the key reason why we're doing this. So, but I appreciate you guys' time. I'm going to stop the video here for the community. I know I went a little bit over. Some exciting stuff coming out hopefully this week. More to come. And I will see you guys in the trading floor.